Today, we're diving into a pretty strange new front line in the world of information warfare. It's a battle that isn't fought with bullets, but with these bizarre AI-generated images and videos that are basically designed to hijack our attention. So let's get right into it. Okay, so this whole thing really kicked off with a truly wild exchange between the US and Iran. And it just goes to show you how weird this new digital conflict can actually get.
It all started with this AI-generated image, right here. It was posted to President Trump's official social media account, and it shows him as this sort of messianic figure. Eagles, fighter jets, the whole deal. Now, on its own, it was already a pretty strange piece of political messaging, but it was the response it triggered that really signaled a whole new kind of battle was starting.
Iran's countermove was fast, and frankly, it felt like something out of a movie. They dropped their own AI-generated video showing a figure that looks a lot like Jesus descending from the sky, violently confronting that Trump as Jesus character, and then tossing him into a pit of lava. All of this with this super dramatic voiceover. This was not some subtle diplomatic note. This was a direct, symbolic, and very public showdown, all driven by AI. So what in the world do you even call this kind of content? Before we can really get into the propaganda side of things, we first need to understand the raw material that's being used. Well, the term is AI Slop, and you can think of it as the digital version of junk mail, but for AI-generated stuff. It's mass-produced, it cares way more about quantity than quality, and it's really designed to do just one thing: grab your attention, usually for clicks or for cash. That image of Trump as Jesus? Yeah, that's a textbook example.
And this just illustrates the concept perfectly. You've probably seen these completely surreal shrimp Jesus images all over Facebook. Now, nobody actually believes Jesus was made of shrimp, but our brains are just wired to notice weird, novel things. And the sheer strangeness of it hijacks that instinct. It makes people stop, react, and of course share. That emotional engagement, that's the entire point of AI Slop. It's all about the reaction, not the reality. So what happens when you take that high-volume, low-quality nature of AI Slop and you give it a political mission?
Well, you get Slopaganda. It's a term that was coined by academics to describe this exact phenomenon. AI-generated content that's used on purpose to manipulate beliefs, emotions, and attention for political goals. It's basically the weaponization of weird, cheap digital content.
And that US-Iran conflict is really a prime case study. You see, the pro-Iranian groups didn't just stop with that lava video. They created an entire series of AI-animated videos, like these Lego-style clips, which have gotten millions of views. They show a panicked Trump syncing in Epstein files, or literally hanging out with Satan.
So what's the strategy here? The goal isn't to make you believe that Trump actually hangs out with a Lego Satan. No, it's to grab your attention, trigger a strong emotion like anger or ridicule, and then forge a really simple mental link. Trump equals corruption. It's all about expressing a feeling, not a fact, and just flooding the zone with so much noise that the truth gets completely lost in the shuffle.
And listen, this isn't just a two-player game between the US and Iran. Oh no, this tactic has gone completely global, with state actors all over the world jumping on the AI bandwagon. A recent OpenAI report detailed exactly how this all works. You see China creating fake AI influencers, you've got Russia generating comments and articles, and even an Israeli firm creating entire fake online personas. The real takeaway here is that everyone is using the same cheap, accessible tools for all different kinds of digital manipulation. And it's really important to remember, this isn't just an international issue. These exact same tactics are being used right here at home. For example, during Hurricane Helene, this AI-generated image of a girl in a flood was passed around by domestic influencers to criticize the government's response. And they did it even while admitting it wasn't a real photo. The emotional impact just completely trumped the factual reality. So, this all raises the billion-dollar question, right? Does any of this stuff actually work? Is this cheap, weird and often kind of badly made content actually persuasive? Well, to figure that out, researchers at Stanford's Institute for Human-Centered AI ran this fascinating experiment. They took real propaganda articles from actual covert Russian and Iranian campaigns, and they put them head-to-head against articles that were generated by GPT-3, which is a really powerful AI model that's trained to write like a human.
And the results were, well, they were startling. The study found that the articles written by the AI were almost as good at changing people's minds as the articles written by professional human propagandists. I mean, think about that. A machine with minimal effort was nearly as effective as a state-sponsored influence operation.
And it gets even more stark. The study found that when a human was involved, even just to pick the best AI output or just to slightly tweak the prompt, the AI-generated content became just as persuasive, or in some cases, even more persuasive than the real thing. This model, this human in the loop, is just incredibly powerful.
And that leaves us with this final, really critical question. The barrier to entry for creating persuasive, emotionally powerful propaganda has basically collapsed. It doesn't require a massive state intelligence agency anymore, just a laptop and an internet connection. So as our feeds fill up with this stuff, what does that mean for our shared sense of reality? That's something we're all going to have to figure out.